Peace and blessings, family. My name is Jay, and today I want to talk to you guys today about these planets in astrology again, and what they deal with. And now, in the last one, we talked about the sun. So naturally, to bring balance, I'm going to talk about the opposite of the sun. Not the opposite, because we know how opposite is seen down here, but more so the divine counterpart to the sun, and that planet would be the moon. Now, with that being said, let's get into it. Now, the moon represents um the. Hey, you're gonna be doing that right now, trying to record. Sorry, I got a chihuahua in the back here. Yeah, if you hear any noise, that's just her. Don't mind. But yeah, anyway, back to what I was talking about. The moon. Well, let's talk about the moon. Let's talk about the moon. Anyway, the moon represents your emotions and feelings, which by default lets you know that it represents your the way you react and respond to things. And now, not only does it react, not only does it react, not only does the moon deal with that, the moon also the moon also, as far as astrology is concerned, represents your mother. But since it also represents your emotions and feelings and the feminine energy, which you since we talk about it rules the mother, you kind of could already, since it rules the mother, you could either way look at it, it rules the mother, so it's a feminine planet. Feminine planet obviously rules the mother, as the son rules the father. Yeah, I don't want to get yeah. Anyway, not only does it rule that, the moon also deals with it deals with your roots and like your natural instincts, not like your intuition, like your hunches, your gut feelings, and all that. I mean, all that could fall under the moon. Since it represents the unconscious, another way of looking at it is like it could represent the subconscious, and where you're coming from. Which, when I said roots, you could kind of get that anyway. Now, and to bring more verification to that and more clarity to like how the moon rules that. Well, the moon rules over the sun. The moon rules over the water sign Cancer. The water sign Cancer is a cardinal water sign, so we know Cancer likes to take the lead and initiate based off of the Cancer likes to take the lead and initiate based off of the emotions and feelings. So whatever vibe Cancer is catching will determine what actions they take, because that's what the cardinal modality is all about anyway. Cardinal modality is all about taking action, regardless of which element it is in, because it deals with initiating and creating. What does creating mean? Creating means expressing by default. So yeah, that's why I like to say that the cardinal modality, even though it's not the same as the element, if you were to put the element with the modality, what element would you put the modality with? I'd say cardinal is like the fire modality, but that's just me mixing two things that ain't supposed to be mixed. I guess that's like that Aquarian thing. But anyway, I digress. Now, since we know that the moon rules over Cancer, um, if you're familiar with houses, you also know that that every sign and planet has a house it's associated with, and the sign, I mean the planet that the planet that the moon, I mean that the house that the moon is associated with, not the planet, the house that the moon is associated with is the fourth house. Now, what does the fourth house deal with? The fourth house deals with you know domestic affairs and issues in general. It also deals with don't go under there. No. It deals with domestic issues and get over here in this video. Say hi to the camera. But it also lay down. But it also deals with your it also deals with your it deals with your family life too and your home. And since we know that it's ruled by the moon, it can also represent your emotional state. And it's not your emotional state, and also the mother too, which is everything that the moon deals with. You can, to an extent, you can kind of apply to the house as well. So yeah, and if not your emotional state or the mother, it can simply represent like it can represent like your stance on when it comes to the emotions, if that makes sense. So yeah, anything that deals with like domestic issues, with family, family life, the mother, home, home life, emotions, whether you know, and like your own emotions and feelings, all that's fourth house. And to an extent, and things like that also deal with eighth house and 12th house, but I'll get to those when I get to them. So yeah, that hopefully that could bring some more clarity. Hopefully that brings some more validity and verification to you about the moon, or just more so to back it up. You know what I mean? You get what I mean. But yeah. Anyway, kind of like what I did in this, with this video talking about the sun and the sun. I talked about now when you're familiar with these houses, usually you'll have a planet in these houses and a sign. So I put the sun in a certain house and a sign. Now, let's now then, I'm gonna do that with the moon now. Now, let's say you put the moon, which represents your emotions and feelings, your intuition, the way you react to things, your reactionary state. You say you put that, this planet, let's say in any house. I don't want to say eighth house or ninth house. It doesn't really matter. Let's say you put your moon in, probably I use like one of my favorite houses. Let's say you put your moon, in like, you know, the first house. And now you put your moon in the first house, which is a fire house. And what does the first house deal with? It deals with the self. And the first house is also, associated with Aries, so you can also look at it like a moon in Aries to an extent. So what does that mean when you bring the planet that deals with your emotions and feelings and all that to the first house? What it means in a nutshell, without getting too deep, is that it means that your emotions and feelings are always going to constantly be, you know, centered around and focused on, yourself and what it is that, and how you feel about, how you feel about things, but more so how you feel about the things that you're here to do. And fire is like as one of my favorite teachers, as one of my favorite teachers, Doelow Da Pilotman, flight boss bitch, as he says, fire is like, water is the filler, fire is the seer and the feeler. And so, kind of like what I was saying, with how your emotions and feelings are going to be constantly focused on you, but since it's a firehouse, it deals with doing. They're going to be constantly focused on how you see and feel about things. So, yeah. Um. Uh. Now, even though that's like kind of talking about the planet. Now, there's a sign that's associated with your moon sign. Now, say that you have like, I don't know, say a Virgo, like a Virgo moon or something. And what does Virgo deal with? It deals with being analytical and organized and structured and routine, pretty much, in different ways of it, because it's mutable Earth. Now, say your moon is in Virgo, that means your emotional state. That means your emotional state needs to be, like organ. It needs to be organized and structured and made sense out of and analyzed before you can go about utilizing your sun and utilizing like the desires and all that of your sun. Or yeah, but anyway, what that means, like, if you got a Virgo moon in the first house, you know your emotions and feelings are going to be focused on what it is that you are here to do as an individual, but the way you're going to go about taking care of that is in a Virgo way, which means you're gonna go about that in making you're gonna go about you're gonna go about making sure that you're okay. Let me backtrack a little bit. So first house moon is gonna mean that your emotions and feelings are focused on what you're personally here to do. But since the sign Virgo is here, how you're gonna do that? Okay, now I remember. But since the sign Virgo is here, you're gonna do that in a Virgo way, which means you're gonna, when it comes to like when it comes to like how you see and feel about things that you're here to do, you're gonna make sure that it's organized and analyzed, structured and routine before you um take the actions based on how you see and feel about things. If that makes sense. I'm trying here, guys. Just bear with me, but uh, but yeah, that's like a quick way of looking at it. You know, um, yeah, there's better ways to break it down, but yeah, and that's just like a quick example. But when I get to talking about like the different series where we actually start to talk about the planets in the signs and then like the planets in the houses, it's all gonna make so much more sense. But it'll get there when it gets there. But yeah, anyway, you guys, this is my talk. This is my take on the talk. This is my take on the planet moon, the moon and astrology. As I always say, if you like this, feel free to give this a like. And if you got any kind of feedback, and or criticism that you like to add, so that I can help serve you guys better, as always, that is always appreciated. And with that being said, I'll say it again. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I love y'all. Yeah, have a good afternoon. Peace. Well, let's see y'all next video. I'll be back soon. That's awkward.